Hi, my name is Tracy Stackhouse, and I'm an occupational therapist in Denver, Colorado. I'm the executive director of Developmental FX, and I've been a part of the Fragile X community for about the last 30 plus years. I'm also really honored to be part of the National Fragile X Foundation's Scientific and Clinical Advisory Committee, and so value this community. Over the coming weeks, at the request of the foundation, we'll be sharing with you some information to try to support you in this really unprecedented time. So I'm just going to share a little bit of information right now about living with Fragile X syndrome in a very challenging time, as this level of dysregulation that we're all experiencing is really seriously no laughing matter. So the reality of Fragile X syndrome is that it really is a disorder of regulation. And this is because in the cells, there's dysregulation because of the missing FMRP. And then across the brain and the systems of the brain, we see disruptions that cause dysregulation really in every single system. And then this turns out then to be true in daily life as well, where the brain really sets us up to respond in a way where the processing is disrupted. And because of that, living with Fragile X, even outside of the chaos of the present moment, really requires that you learn how to self-regulate. It's a real imperative of Fragile X syndrome is to focus on self-regulation. So to help another person that is dysregulated, you have to stay regulated. And that's really the first thing that I wanted to talk about today, is that the first step is that you, whether you're the parent or a sibling or another person in that individual's life, you have to stay really regulated. And if you can't stay regulated, then it's going to be much, much harder to support that person and to have them feel like they're going to be able to shift out of being in a dysregulated state. So you really have to make a commitment to being regulated and to landing in a regulated state. And as soon as that person with Fragile X starts to have a hard time, the first thing you really have to do is you have to stop and regulate yourself. And given the situation with COVID-19, it's never been harder for any of us to stay regulated. So this is a big commitment. But what you have to remember is that what you offer to others in those moments is really what you're strengthening in yourself. So if you're feeling challenged in your own regulation and you're living with heightened dysregulation, it really is a gift to the other person, but to yourself, to really commit to working on being regulated. And that is just sort of profound and critically important for us to think through. So to help another person feel regulated, we have to stay regulated. The second part of this is that you have to really have a toolkit. And a toolkit of regulatory tools. And those tools are things that you're going to have to apply to yourself. And then you're going to have them at the ready to be able to offer to whomever you need to support. These have to be really at your fingertips and in the environment, because this is not a drill. This is happening. And we really need to spend the time that it takes to assemble these tools, to put these materials in place and to have them readily available, because we are having to live in active regulation moments at all times. So we're going to cover some tools now, and then in subsequent future talks, we'll be talking more about these in detail. So the general tools of regulation are, first, that we have to create a sense of safety, and then a sense of connection. And from connection, we can give directions to engage in something, directions to be engaged in problem solving, but we can't really direct if we're not connected, and we can't connect if we don't feel safe. So this really is a sequence in a way, because You can't get to the level of please stop doing that, or please go to your room, or please calm your body down, or here, use this soothing tool in a direction if we haven't connected first, and we can't connect if we don't feel safe. All of this always has to be done in what we call the Fragile X way. That means that you're going to be using visual tools like visual schedules or having items to show, and you're going to be doing it through modeling. So whenever I say the Fragile X way, it's going to include visually through modeling, doing it with rhythm, doing it with kindness, because those things really matter to a person with Fragile X syndrome. So let's talk about safety, and then connection, and then engagement as our tools. And we're going to talk about each of these at 3 different levels. First for yourself, then for the other, and then what do you need to have in the environment. In terms of safety, the first part of safety is that you have to kind of ground yourself. So if a person is feeling dysregulated, the first thing you have to do is you have to remember to be in the present moment. That's really hard because when you are dysregulated, you tend to get kind of anxious. And when you're anxious, you're thinking a lot about what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future. And none of that will serve the regulated state. So you need to try to land and be in the present moment. The easiest way to do that is to remind yourself to touch or see or hear something around you. And it could be as simple as saying, oh, wait, I'm sitting in my chair. I'm sitting in my black chair. My black chair is right here. It has arms. I'm feeling my black chair. I'm wearing a black shirt. I have on a black shirt. I'm in a room that has 2 lights and a clock. What else can I see? I have a computer in front of me. What I'm doing is I'm giving myself here and now cues. They're often visual or tactile cues, and they're things that I can see or touch near me. They could be things that I hear. Maybe I hear the television, or maybe I hear the clock ticking, or I hear the water running. It could be that I hear somebody's voice speaking to me. I could hear the dog barking. So what are the here and now cues that you're feeling, seeing, experiencing? And it's really important to do that, to land yourself right here now. I'm sitting in this chair. I have on my shirt. I have on my scarf. I am here with whomever I'm here with. And then you're going to ground your body. So we often in our world of occupational therapy use the word proprioception. Those are the body receptors that help you feel your body. So proprioception we activate by moving our muscles or feeling resistance. So I could ground myself by saying, I'm in my black chair. My black chair has arms. I'm going to pull, 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 pull. And what I'm doing is I'm activating proprioception. I'm doing it with rhythm, and I'm doing it repetitively. That formula becomes really your best friend. Pull, pull, pull. I'm literally grounding myself. Then I'm going to add breath, because breath helps our nervous system to calm down. So I'm going to pull, and then I'm going to breathe in and breathe out. I'll share with you several breathing strategies and proprioceptive strategies in that upcoming additional training. But for now, if you can just remember the simple part of pull or push, and breathe slow and steady. The next thing that I would need to do would be to find something that feels really like a safe space. So I don't do this first. First, I ground myself in the here and now. And then I think, where would I feel the safest? Maybe I need to have something cozy around me. So maybe I need to get out a blanket or something like that. Maybe I need to grab my favorite squeezy lovey and hold on to it. Maybe I need to go to a quieter, smaller space, um, climb under a blanket or get into my fort or go into the bathroom, sit in the car, in the garage. Where is a safe, contained space? And stay there until I'm ready to move past safety into the next step, which is connection. Connection, again, you're going to think about for yourself, for the other, and in the environment. And connectedness really governs our behavior. When people start to feel dysregulated, they almost always need us. They don't need us to ignore them, they need us to connect to them. So we want to be offering soothing connection. For a person with Fragile X, that's going to include often sort of dropping your eye contact and being very soft and available, but then being available. What can I do for you now? What can I do for you? And I'm thinking about offering something soothing. Hopefully, you'll have a familiar routine that offers connection. If you haven't established that, then that's some work that you'll have to do. But you want to offer a sense of, I'm right here for you, and let's do our thing to feel like we're together. That could be something like reading a joke book together, or giving each other a little hand massage, or offering each other a familiar back and forth exchange that could even be somewhat perseverative. But what it does is it allows you to get back into a sense of connection. So maybe we talk about, I wonder what they're doing at the fire department today. I think at the fire department right now, they're helping each other. We can help each other. Let's help each other. I'm going to give you a squeeze. You give me a squeeze. I'll give you a squeeze. Oh, you give me a squeeze. Oh, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a little bit better. And as you get into a connected moment, that's when you're going to shift into problem solving. What are we going to do here? So you moved into this sequence because of dysregulation. You've established safety, connection, and now you can do a little bit of wondering about what was causing the dysregulation. Oh, I was feeling kind of nervous. The news was on and it was upsetting me. I think I'm going to turn the news off and go make some cookies. That's going to feel good. Let's go do something together that gives us purpose and meaning. Maybe it's those, I'm bored. You were on the computer and ignoring me, and I needed you. Let's go do something together. Whatever the situation is, whatever the trigger is, if you can name it, then you can tame it, as Dan Siegel says. And that is true, but you don't want to name it and tame it before you've established safety and connection. Now you can move into doing something together. It's really important to remember that when we're stressed and anxious and overwhelmed and hyper-aroused and distressed, we need to ground ourselves and then find our purpose, find something meaningful to do. That helps your brain to engage in something that isn't going to just push you right back into dysregulation. So what you want to do is find and have at the ready in the environment a number of things that you can go do. Let's go color together. Let's go garden together. Let's take a walk together. Let's go organize the spoons in the kitchen together. Let's listen to music and have a dance party together. When you get engaged in something that's meaningful, then you're going to be able to take care of the feelings. And then you can maybe talk about, it's kind of scary right now, or I don't like this very much. We don't get to go to school. You can name the feeling and deal with it. But don't try to do that in that dysregulated state, because it'll just drive the dysregulation. Create safety, connection, move into engagement, and from a space of engagement, you'll be able to move into dealing with the problem, identifying the trigger, and maybe even talking about it. But if you don't give yourself permission to do this whole process, then you'll stay in a state of dysregulation, and that's not going to be productive for any of us. Remember that you have to learn to self-regulate. And you can only do that when you're regulated. You can't coach this or train this when a person is really, really freaking out and having a hard time. Establish safety and connection. Hold that until you move into engagement. And then when you identify teachable moments, you can try to coach and build the regulatory skills. We'll be sharing many more regulation skills in the coming weeks and months. So know that we'll get to that, but the process is really critical. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time just focused on the process. So you'll need to be prepared with a safe place in mind, be at the ready for those dysregulated movements, and remind yourself, I need to feel safe and comfortable and connected before I can help this other person. And then I'm going to help them feel safe and connected before we move into any other level of demand or discussion. Okay. So we'll be sharing more in the days to come. I hope you're well, be safe, and take good care.